Have you ever thought about what it would be like to move into a nursing home? Maybe you've considered it as an option for yourself or a loved one, or perhaps you've already made that decision. Either way, I want to share something deeply personal with you today, something I wish I had known before I made the choice to move into a nursing home. It's not an easy topic to talk about, but I believe it's important, especially for those of us who are navigating this stage of life. Let me start by saying this: moving into a nursing home wasn't a decision I took lightly. At the time, it seemed like the best solution. I was struggling to manage daily tasks on my own, and the idea of having help nearby felt comforting. But looking back, I realized there were things I didn't fully understand, things I regret not considering more carefully. That's why I'm here today, to share 6 hard truths about nursing homes that you need to know before making this life-changing decision. Now, I don't say this to scare you or discourage you, it's quite the opposite. My hope is that by sharing my story, you'll be better equipped to make a choice that aligns with your needs and values. In this video, we'll explore these truths in detail, and I'll also offer some practical advice on how to approach this decision with clarity and confidence. Let's dive in, starting with the first truth. The first hard truth is this: losing your independence can happen faster than you expect. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I'd still have control over my daily routine. After all, I was told I could come and go as I pleased, and staff would only step in when I needed help. But the reality was different. There's a subtle shift that happens when you're in an environment where others are managing most aspects of your day. Meals are served at set times, activities are scheduled, and even small decisions, like when to take a walk or when to rest, are influenced by the schedule of the facility. Over time, I found myself relying more and more on others for things I used to do effortlessly on my own. It's not that the staff didn't care, they did, but the structure of the place made it hard to maintain the sense of autonomy I cherished. If you're considering a nursing home, I urge you to think carefully about how much independence you're willing to give up. Are there alternatives, like hiring in-home care or moving in with family, that might allow you to stay more in control of your life? These are questions worth exploring, because once you've handed over that control, it can be difficult to reclaim. The second truth is about loneliness. You might assume that being surrounded by other residents would mean you'd never feel alone. But let me tell you, loneliness in a nursing home can be surprisingly isolating. Many of the people around me were dealing with their own struggles, some had dementia, others were bedridden, and many simply kept to themselves. Conversations were often brief, and meaningful connections were harder to come by than I expected. Even when staff members were kind and attentive, they were stretched thin, juggling the needs of dozens of residents. It wasn't their fault, but it left me feeling like just another name on their list. What I learned from this experience is that staying socially connected requires effort, no matter where you live. If you do decide a nursing home is the right choice for you, I encourage you to bring pieces of your old life with you, photos, mementos, even hobbies that bring you joy. And don't hesitate to reach out to friends and family regularly. They may not visit as often as you'd like, but staying in touch can make a world of difference. Now, let's move on to the third truth, which has to do with the cost, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally. Moving into a nursing home is expensive, and for many people, it means dipping into savings or selling a home they've lived in for decades. But beyond the financial burden, there's an emotional toll that comes with leaving behind the life you've built. The house filled with memories, the neighborhood you knew like the back of your hand, the little routines that gave your days meaning, all of it gets left behind. For me, the hardest part wasn't the money, it was the sense of loss I felt every time I thought about the life I used to have. If you're facing this decision, take the time to weigh the pros and cons, not just for today, but for the long term. Ask yourself, what am I gaining, and what am I giving up? And remember, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay. As we continue, we'll delve into 3 more truths about nursing homes that I believe are crucial for anyone considering this path. These include the impact on your physical health, the importance of advocating for yourself, and the role of family in your decision-making process. Each of these truths comes with lessons I've learned along the way, and I'll share them with you in the hopes of helping you navigate this journey with greater awareness and confidence. So let's keep going, together. Let's talk about the fourth truth, and it's one that hits close to home for many of us: the impact a nursing home can have on your physical health. Now, when I first moved in, I thought the staff would help me stay active and healthy. After all, they're trained professionals, right? But here's the reality: nursing homes aren't always designed to keep you moving. Sure, there might be a weekly bingo game or an occasional exercise class, but those activities are often optional, and not everyone participates. For many residents, the default becomes sitting in a chair or lying in bed for long stretches of time. I noticed this shift in my own body almost immediately. My muscles felt weaker, my energy levels dropped, and I started relying on others for things I used to do on my own. It wasn't intentional, it just happened because the environment didn't naturally encourage movement. And while some facilities offer rehabilitation programs or physical therapy, they're usually focused on recovery from specific injuries, not on maintaining overall fitness. If staying physically active is important to you, and trust me, it should be, you'll need to take charge of that yourself. Ask about exercise options, bring resistance bands or light weights from home, or even create your own routine. Small efforts can make a big difference in preserving your strength and mobility. Now, let's move on to the fifth truth, which is something I didn't fully grasp until I was already living in the nursing home: the importance of advocating for yourself. In an ideal world, the staff at these facilities would know exactly what you need and provide it without hesitation. But let's be honest, the reality is often far from perfect. Staff members are human, and they're juggling dozens of residents with varying needs. Mistakes happen, and sometimes, your concerns might not be prioritized as quickly as you'd like. For example, there were days when I waited hours for simple things like a glass of water or help getting to the bathroom. At first, I hesitated to speak up. I didn't want to seem demanding or difficult. But over time, I realized that if I didn't advocate for myself, no one else would. So I started speaking up more, politely but firmly, to ensure my needs were met. If you're considering a nursing home, or already living in one, don't be afraid to use your voice. Keep track of your medications, ask questions about your care plan, and don't hesitate to bring up any issues with the staff. Remember, you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect, and it's okay to remind people of that. Finally, let's talk about the sixth truth, which is perhaps the most emotional one of all: the role your family plays in this decision. Moving into a nursing home doesn't just affect you, it impacts your loved ones too. Some families are incredibly supportive, visiting regularly and staying involved in your care. Others, well, let's just say their involvement fades over time. For me, this was one of the hardest parts of the experience. I thought my family would be around more often, but life gets busy, and visits became less frequent than I'd hoped. If you're thinking about a nursing home, it's crucial to have an open and honest conversation with your family before making the move. Share your expectations, listen to theirs, and work together to find a solution that works for everyone. Maybe they can commit to visiting once a week, or perhaps they can help coordinate care in other ways. The key is communication. Don't assume they know how you feel or what you need. And if family support isn't available, consider building a network of friends, neighbors, or even volunteers who can step in and fill the gap. You don't have to face this chapter of life alone. As we wrap up these truths, I want you to take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed so far. Losing independence, feeling isolated, facing financial and emotional costs, seeing changes in your physical health, learning to advocate for yourself, and navigating family dynamics, these are all real challenges that come with moving into a nursing home. But here's the thing, understanding them doesn't mean you have to avoid nursing homes altogether. It means you can approach the decision with your eyes wide open, armed with knowledge and strategies to make the best choice for your unique situation. In the next part, we'll tie everything together by summarizing the key lessons and offering some final thoughts. I'll also share a few practical tips to help you navigate this decision with confidence and peace of mind. So stick around, we're almost there. Now that we've explored these 6 hard truths about nursing homes, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Moving into a nursing home is one of the most significant decisions you'll ever make, and it's not something to rush into without careful thought. While I regret some aspects of my own decision, I also recognize that hindsight is a powerful teacher. My goal in sharing this with you isn't to paint nursing homes as inherently bad or wrong, they serve an important purpose for many people. Instead, I want to empower you to approach this choice with clarity, intention, and a realistic understanding of what it entails. Let's revisit the key lessons we've covered so far, but in a way that ties everything together. First, losing your independence can happen faster than you expect, especially in an environment where routines are rigid and choices are limited. If maintaining control over your life is important to you, explore alternatives like in-home care or assisted living before committing to a nursing home. These options might allow you to preserve more of your autonomy while still getting the support you need. Second, loneliness can creep in even when you're surrounded by others. The social dynamics in a nursing home aren't always conducive to forming deep, meaningful connections. To combat this, bring pieces of your identity with you, photos, mementos, hobbies, and stay connected to loved ones outside the facility. Regular phone calls, video chats, or visits can help bridge the gap between your old life and your new one. Third, the financial and emotional costs of moving into a nursing home can be higher than you anticipate. Selling your home, leaving behind cherished memories, and adjusting to a completely new environment takes a toll. Before making the move, sit down with your family and discuss the long-term implications, not just financially, but emotionally and mentally. Are there other solutions that could meet your needs without requiring such a drastic change? Fourth, staying physically active requires effort on your part. Nursing homes may not naturally encourage movement, so it's up to you to prioritize your health. Whether it's walking the hallways, doing light exercises in your room, or participating in activities offered by the facility, staying active will help you maintain your strength and independence for as long as possible. Fifth, advocating for yourself is essential. Staff members are human, and mistakes happen. Don't be afraid to speak up if something isn't right or if your needs aren't being met. Keep track of your medications, ask questions about your care plan, and remind yourself that you have every right to demand quality treatment. Finally, involve your family in the decision-making process. Their support, or lack thereof, can significantly impact your experience. Have honest conversations about expectations, boundaries, and how they can stay involved in your life. If family support isn't available, seek out friends, neighbors, or community resources to build a network of connection and care. As I reflect on my journey, I realize that the decision to move into a nursing home isn't black and white, it's deeply personal and unique to each individual. There's no perfect answer, but there is a path that feels right for you. And that's what matters most. Take your time, weigh the pros and cons, and trust your instincts. You've lived a lifetime of wisdom, let it guide you now. Before we wrap this up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you faced this decision yourself, or are you helping a loved one navigate it? What challenges or insights have you encountered along the way? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and I know others would benefit from hearing your perspective too. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content designed to support you through this stage of life. Here's the truth, aging brings its share of challenges, but it also offers opportunities for growth, reflection, and connection. No matter where you are in your journey, remember that you deserve to live with dignity, purpose, and joy. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and here's to making choices that honor the incredible life you've built.